Live from Muscle Cat Studios, it's the Muscle Cat Sports Show with your host, Curtis DeBoy.
Hello, everybody on the internet. It is the Muscle Cat Sports Show. I am your host, Curtis DeBoy. Welcome along. Welcome along as we continue to improve the reputation of Mondays, Monday nights in particular. Oh, I say it every week. I say it every week and I'll say it again. And I said it last week that I say it every week and I said last week that I'll say it again. It's been a big week in sport. It always is. There was some extraordinary stuff. We are going to talk the Formula One, I won't say debacle for McLaren, but another error which has kept Max Verstappen in the championship, and there's only one race left, and that's this weekend in Abu Dhabi. They've had a relentless 3-race streak towards the title. So we'll be talking that tonight. We'll also be talking the controversial end to the Supercars Grand Final. Yes, they have a Grand Final now. It's a little odd, but it did create drama, and we will unpack all of that drama. You might be looking at my knickknacks. Sorry, these things. We're going to change the name of that, baby. The knickknacks, yes, it's motorsport focused in a way tonight. I'll explain that in just a moment. There's also EPL drama. We'll go through that. NFL, some interesting games from this morning and Thanksgiving as well. We will go through all of that. There's some basketball we're going to talk. What else have we got? Oh, of course, it's the Ashes, the second Ashes test this Thursday. And we will be doing a live watch-along, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a moment. Now, this is a call-in show. It's about the people. It's about the chat in the comments, the live chat. So get involved there. I know we've got our regulars there who tear it up. So welcome you back. And any newbies, show yourself. Say g'day. Say g'day. And they're a very welcoming crew unless they disagree with one of your opinions. And then that can turn a little bit, but so far it's been fairly amicable, I think so. I think it's a call-in show too. There is a link in the description. If you just look below the video in the description, the video link, it's like a very easy version of Zoom. You just press that. There's no login or anything like that. It takes you to your browser and you can do it on your phone. You just press start and put your name in and you're in and you can talk to us about whatever you want. If you don't want your video on either, you can just do it as audio. You can let Jimbo know in the chat once you're in, producer Jim, just say, hey, I don't want video, and he'll just let your audio through. We got a big show. Of course, it's brought to you all by Wayne Phillips Kia, the great people at Wayne Phillips Kia. They've got a sale across the range, demo sale across the range, and there's cashback offers as well, up to $2,000 back for the Kia Tasman if you drive that beast of a car. We are doing a show for the Outback Quarterback, our NFL podcast, at Wayne Phillips Kia in just a couple of weeks' time. We've got a few logistics to sort out, me and Jimbo. We might do that after the show, but we're looking forward to it. Good people down there, led by Matt, the team at Wayne Phillips Kia. All right. We always start the show with my knickknacks, but Jimbo, I want to say hello to you first. How are you going?
Good.
Yeah?
What a wonderful week of sports it's been.
Oh, yes. But you are genuinely getting more into sport as time goes on. You were singing da-da-da-da, Max Verstappen for about an hour before the show tonight.
I am getting a wild amount of sports coming through my feed, mostly F1, NFL.
Yep. Cricket?
Still not a lot of cricket.
Okay. Kabaddi?
We've gone quiet on that season.
Oh, it's off season.
We'll wait until August.
Yeah, but what would you say your feed is now percentage-wise of sport?
Ooh.
It would have been almost zero before.
Almost zero. I'm pretty strong.
Yeah.
I'd say getting 50-50.
That's what the Muscle Cat Sports Show will do to you.
That's it.
No, I've noticed it. Week by week, you've grown.
I'm
You're
on
learning
the in now.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
relying on my reels to keep me informed.
You're one of us. You are one of us. Jimbo, I do have an observation about you tonight.
Ooh.
You're not wearing black.
I'm not.
I think this is
I've
the
changed
first
it up.
time. The first time on the Muscle Cat Sports Show you've not worn black.
That's it.
Is everything all right?
Yep. I having an off day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Normally it's the other way around. If someone came to my house dressed all in black and they're normally colourful, I'd check in. For you, yeah, okay.
Yep.
I like it. Looks good.
Black's my go-to.
Is it new?
No.
No?
Very old. It's one of those, you ever done that where you pull something like so old out of the bottom of the drawer, you're like, I haven't worn this so long, I didn't like this. You put it on, you're like,
Yeah, I do that until I go to Kathy. Hey, does this look good? She goes, no.
take it off.
Nope, that's all.
Well, the difference between me and you is I don't ask.
Well,
I just
true.
leave the house looking like an idiot.
Yes, and we'd all just laugh behind your back. Well, I mean, these are my new clothes, but I was kind of looking at it before going, I've sort of gone dressed like a sexy pensioner tonight. Don't you reckon?
I was going to say that you got a bit of pensioner pants going.
Yeah.
Yeah, old pensioner
But
pants.
pensioner pants are cool, right?
That's it. I feel like that's the vibe. That's the move.
I'm a almost middle-aged man, 35, dressing like an old man to seem like a young man. I'm lost. I'm
covered
all
the
at
gambit.
sea. Oh, I mean, you told me this shirt was
All right.
gender ambiguous.
All right, old man, tell us about your knickknacks.
All right, let's do the knickknacks. We've done the Wayne Phillips Kia hat. Yeah, let's go to the wide view. Where should we start? Oh, we'll start with this bat, this cricket bat. Now, we had this on last week. Had it on like it's a guest.
How have you been since last week?
Not good, apparently. Absolutely weathered. And, this bat is like the cricket equivalent of this shirt. meant for oldness.
What brand is that?
Sykes.
Oh,
Sykes.
Sykes.
Yeah, there's a Y that's cut off there. I believe
was,
Sykes is
there
an
was.
English bat maker, but maybe not. Oh,
Was
it's made by Slazenger, so I don't know. There's confusion here. Slazengers and Sykes. But it's Don Bradman, so I'm guessing he wouldn't put his name to an
Was
English
this a
bat.
prestigious back in the day, or it was just a general populace go-to?
It's prestigious in that it was used for our Christmas Eve match at Almar's house every week, and I'll heard nothing else said about the matter.
Take
now-
my bat's name out of your mouth.
That's right. Take my bat's name out of your gosh darn mouth. This is a reminder that it is the Ashes this week, and we have our Ashes watch along. Now, we did it for the first test, the Perth test, and that was a raging success. We thought we'd get about 50 views. We had 600. We had so many people tuning in. We had people from India. We had plenty of Aussies cheering our boys on, whilst we were sitting on this very couch looking at that TV. Myself, Alex, and Hawley. We had so much chat. It was a great night that we thought we're doing that again. And the good people at Sports Card World saw the success of it and thought, well, we're going to help out again. And a huge part of the success was this giveaway, which is a $210 box of Lux cricket cards, 2025-26. There's possibly signatures in here, some very valuable stuff potentially for you to get. Very, very cool prize. I went in there, like I said, thinking they'd give us a $40 or $50 box of cards. They give us a $200+ one. So they're very generous. Sports Card World, Regent, Arcade, and Adelaide. That's up for grabs for a random commenter on the night. So if you get involved in the live chat, one thing we did sort of do on the fly last time during the 2.5-hour watch along was for any jokes or comments or insults that we liked, we gave extra entries live, and that seemed to work well. So if you come up with some zingers, some good stuff, things that make us laugh, we'll give you some extra entries. So get involved. You have to subscribe to this channel, the Muscle Cat Sports Show. Tune in on Thursday night, 7:30 SA time, 8 o'clock Victorian, New South Wales. We'll be watching the night session of day 1 of the Brisbane test. And if the test is still going on day 4 on Sunday, we'll be back for that too. So we can't wait. That's the Ashes watch-alongs.
What do you mean maybe a signature in there?
So with
that work?
collector cards like this, there's odds basically on what types of cards are included per box.
Yeah.
So the super rare ones, there might be. Well, let's have a look.
But by signature, do you mean physically signed or like special
Yeah,
edition?
actual
Oh,
signed
wow.
cards. Yeah. So what have we got here? Signature. So okay. So normally it's like there's one per 30 packs, and I think there's 30 packs in a box.
Yep.
But these ones, there's 56 per player of a certain signature. So that's a very limited run. So
Yep.
you might, this is when he was playing for the Giants, the quarterback in the NFL. He was a great story because, well, he had a pretty ordinary start to his career. He had one good year at the Giants after being number 6 pick overall in the 2019 draft. High expectations. They had one good year, made playoffs, won a playoff in Brian Daboll, the head coach's first year. And then it all went pear-shaped to the point where he was booted out, literally booed by his fans. He ends up at the Indianapolis Colts. We think as a backup. Turns out he's the starter. And they started this year 8-1. The Colts have been an okay team for many years. They started incredibly well. Now, however, that fairy tale is starting to fall apart a little bit. They've lost 3. Actually, I'll explain the track first.
Oh, yes.
So I've got this bad boy here. Now, every week, these things seem to come from my dad. This one was inspired by my dad. So when I was a little tacker, I loved motorsport. I still do. And he made me these things. Just a bit of plywood, and he would paint racetracks on there, and I would skill and didn't finish the curbs. I'll get to that one day, Dad, I promise. I replicated the track that he made for me when I was 5 years old. So hopefully my kids can enjoy this. We are going to use this later in a live demonstration of some of the supercars drama. So I'm going to put this down here, and that track will be back in, 10 or 15 minutes' time. Oh. And then Jimbo, got some. How are we going over there? Are you able to get something up, or we got a new bit of tech in the house today, and it's causing some trouble?
Yeah, we're having a bit of dropout, so the chat is noticing it. But yeah, I'm just trying to.
Sorry, chat.
Might switch some things around for us.
All right, you're going to switch. Well, I'll hold this last little knick-knack because there's some significant news that I want to discuss with you. Why don't we jump straight into the sport while Tech Whiz Jim is getting all of this sorted? We'll start with the F1 because that's the best place to start. Now, we know that Oscar Piastri going into the weekend into Qatar, the second to last race of the year, he was equal second with Max Verstappen, our Aussie boy. He was a chance, but it was falling apart. Lando Norris had a lead. It was a bigger lead a week or so ago. But earlier on in the year, of course, Oscar Piastri was leading the Formula One World Championship. And then he went on a 7-8 round winless streak. He was getting some podiums. He was getting a lot of fourths and fifths. And that lead eventually dwindled away, and then he was equal second going into the weekend. It couldn't have started better for him in Qatar. He was top of every practice. He was top of all the qualifying. He won the sprint race in a canter. He was on pole for the main race. So he'd already picked up 8 points for the sprint race. He was good. Lando Norris, he's the one under pressure. Now, let's explain what happened. Piastri made a good start. Goes from pole, leading the race, looking great. Safety car lap 7, and for those who watched the race, you know the error that was made. McLaren and only one other car, so the two McLarens and one other car, they didn't pit. Everybody else, every other car pitted. All the other teams made the decision to come in. And that cost McLaren in a big way because obviously the safety car train caught up, so their first and second position was squished together. But because of their decision not to pit for some reason, and I don't know why, they came out after the race and said it was a conscious decision, they just got it wrong. The decision not to pit meant that they were all in a line, they'd lost the gap that they had on the field, and they had older tyres than everybody else. So that's the first consequence of it. The second consequence is that then puts you out of kilter with the rest of the field for your pit stop strategy for the rest of the race. And it got to a point where, yes, Piastri was leading with about 15, 16 laps to go, but Max Verstappen was on fresh tyres behind him and catching him and didn't need to pit again. So Piastri and his team made the call to come in and pit. They come in. They think that maybe if they get some fresh soft tyres on, they can chase down Verstappen at about a second a lap. That was the gap. It was 15 seconds for 15 laps to go, and they came really nowhere near it. They got within 8 or 9 seconds, and Verstappen strolled to a victory. So they had the double disqualification for a technical issue last week, which you have to say, yes, there's some bad luck there, but that's the fault of the team. It's their responsibility to get the technical stuff right. And then they have this error, this pit stop strategy error, which has cost them again. It's mainly cost Lando Norris because he could have wrapped it up if things went well for him. But the situation now is that there's 12 points in it. Verstappen's only 12 points. Oh, you back, Jimbo?
Yeah, I was just going to say...
All right, get that double screen up, Jimbo.
Hans in the chat had said, pretty sure it was me calling Oscar the greatest choke since Norman at the 96 Masters or what drove him to do the win.
Hans, do you not like Australians? Because you don't want Piastri to win, and now you're laughing at Greg Norman. We just got over those scars. All right, we'll talk some golf later too, actually. But no, you're right. You're right, Hans. It was a choke. I mean, to say he's the biggest choker, he hasn't had many opportunities in Formula One to win a title. I mean, I think we need to cool it there. It has been disappointing the last 6 or 7 weeks, but this is on McLaren. The technical issue last week, and now this pit stop strategy, it's on the team. But what it does do, Jim, is it sets up an incredible finale this weekend. And F1 fans know the drama that occurred between Hamilton and Verstappen 4 or 5 years ago. Bring back Michael Massey. We love that guy. It sets up a 3-horse race. So we've got Norris, Piastri, Verstappen. They can all win it. Obviously, if Norris wins the race, he wins the championship. But it's not that straightforward. Abu Dhabi's a difficult track. He seems under pressure. And Verstappen, he's a cool, calm customer.
He loves his pressure.
He does love pressure. And I think he's really enjoyed the chase over the last month. Because he could have...
It would have been a washout, yeah.
Well, he could have fallen out of this quite respectably 3 or 4 races ago. But yeah, it's good. It is really, really good. I'm looking forward to the climax late on Sunday night.
And I'm no F1 whiz. It's not been something I followed in the background, but I
Yep.
thought Hamilton was the big name in Formula One.
They're worse than most years this year. Normally they're the second or third best team, but this year they are, especially in the second half, it seems like the wheels have fallen off. So I don't know. I don't know what happens with Hamilton over the next year or two, but he might be nearing the end. He is a legend of the sport. Max is the man now.
So is there a GOAT of F1? Was that Hamilton, or is now it's all very debatable? Or is
Well, World Championships wise, Hamilton and Michael Schumacher have the same amount of titles.
Yeah, okay.
But most Formula One fans would say it is Michael Schumacher for the manner in which he did it, for the way that he dragged Ferrari up from a perennial underachiever that we don't know where that would have ended up if he had not tragically died at that race in Imola in 1994. But we've got more motorsport to talk. We'll talk some super cars. In fact, we might do that later. We might switch to some Ashes cricket because it's the second test Thursday, as we have already mentioned, and there's a couple of decisions that we thought were going to be made with the Australian lineup. Usman Khawaja, he had a disappointing first test. He looked about 80 years old out there. And I welcome the input of the chat on whether Usman Khawaja should have retained his spot. It's funny because it sort of takes the pressure off Jake Weatherall. He had a duck in the first innings and scored 23-24 in the second and looked pretty good. But if he underachieves this test, he may be under pressure with this spot. But all the focus is on Khawaja, only scoring 2 in a solitary innings, dropping that catch, fumbling the other catches that he took, back spasms. And then we find out that Uzi played golf multiple days in a row leading up to that test, and then Justin Langer defended it afterwards, saying, it's what they always do. It's like, okay, that's one thing for them to always do it. But if you've got a back injury and golf is probably likely to aggravate back spasms, then maybe Uzi shouldn't have done it. And then he hosts an event, the Usman Khawaja Foundation. I don't know what it does. Ostensibly, I assume, good work. And he called the Perth pitch a piece of you-know-what. I don't think it was the pitch. I just think that no one knows how to play Test cricket at the moment, Uzi. And other guys were able to score runs. Travis Head scored an incredible century, and you scored 2 and didn't bat. So Usman is not the most popular man in the Australian dressing room at the moment. Put it in the chat whether you think he should have retained his spot for this test, but he has retained it. The other story is Pat Cummins as well, the Australian captain, the fast bowler. We thought that he was probably coming back for Brisbane. It seemed that way, and then they didn't pick him in the squad. There is still some manoeuvrability. If somebody pulls out of the squad, they can put Cummins in late, but it doesn't look like he'll play Brisbane. It looks like he will play Adelaide, which, that's a boost for the local SA crowd, and we'll be on site in South Australia. Jimbo, how we going?
We've got somebody in the chat, which we can give that a crack.
Oh, got a call?
Yeah, we've got James on the video.
James, welcome. Can we see him? We got you, James.
Oh, one sec.
This is live TV, folks. This is the sort of stuff that happens. It's the thrill ride. Sometimes it works beautifully and you get to enjoy it, and sometimes it works terribly and you get to enjoy that even more. If you like cringe TV, this is for you. No luck?
No. Man, what a night.
What a night. Have we got anything in the chat? Are people, other than saying the camera's dropping out? Have we got
we had Scottish FM saying Hamilton is the Darth Vader of F1. All he does is choke.
Well, recently perhaps, yeah.
We've got as an Aussie, so if Oscar doesn't win, we're going for Max.
Yep. Is that from Hans?
No, that's from Endrovic.
Oh, well, hello. Welcome. I don't think that's a name we've had in the chat before. Jimbo, get yourself back up on screen if you can.
Yeah.
All right, we're good? I think we're good. And now, try if James Baldwin comes back on, then let me know, because he's an expert in all things Formula One and supercars. Where were we? We were talking about Formula One. We were talking about the Ashes. Oh, yeah, Jimbo, our plans for the Ashes watch-along.
Yes.
Now, we're going to do 2 days the Brisbane test, but we're also going to do Adelaide, where we set up in the parkland. So how do you feel about setting up in a public park with thousands of people walking past us? Technology on the go, not in the confines of the studio. Random sitting down with us. Are you happy about that?
Internet abroad. Well, after tonight, I'm giving it a second go.
Yeah.
Let's take less tech on the road with patchier internet.
All right, well, who can we criticise for today? I mean, what did we buy? We bought a new unit from who?
Kensington.
Right. Kensington, you're on the hook. And I don't care if you never sponsor us because the odds are pretty low anyway. Let's be honest. Wayne Phillips already have prime position on this show, so we're not coming for Kensington. We wouldn't sell much tech anyway, and we're certainly not selling your products after tonight. Have we bought other stuff from them that's worked well, or is this the first time we've invested in Kensington?
This will probably be the first Kensington.
Yeah.
That's it.
Sounds British. No wonder it's faulty.
We are running quite a few things through it. To be fair, may have been worth not using it on a live stream for the first time.
Yeah,
to be fair, out of the box should be rock solid.
Well, the whole point of that thing is to improve the live stream experience, right?
That's it.
Now, have we got James on the line?
He was going to jump back in. Let's give him a try.
All right, let's give him a try. Thanks for your patience, everyone. This will improve. I personally guarantee it. and if it doesn't, then I don't know what we're going to do. There we go. I hear him and I see him. Welcome, James. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, man?
I'm good. Hello to everyone except for Hans in the chat, who has literally no idea what he's talking about. Or they are talking about.
Well, please fire back. What comment from Hans do you take exception with, James?
Just all of them. I actually can't be bothered going through it. Let's talk about some motorsports.
Yes. Now, James Baldwin is a motorsports expert. He's from the Listen to My Calls Rally podcast. He's done. That's a MuscleCat Media product, by the way. So if you're a World Rally Championship fan, please get on board. It's doing great things. You're on a bunch of other things, including, James, this morning, my news channel of choice, Sky News Australia. Look at that.
I bet Hans watches that as well. I'm just joking, Hans, by the way. You're still incorrect, though. I was on Sky News this morning, and I was also on 6PR in Perth this afternoon, or this morning their time, and halfway between your time and my time as well. So
wow.
It's funny that suddenly Australian media is getting excited about Oscar Piastri, mainly because I think they're sort of reminiscing on 2010 and potentially the heartache that we suffered with Mark Webber finishing third in that championship. But where would you like to start, mate? Because we had the Supercars Grand Final of our sport trademark, even though it wasn't Bathurst.
Yep.
We had the World Rally Championship Grand Final of their sport, and it was actually that, and Formula One, which I think everyone was on the edge of their seat because it was a really boring sprint race, an exceptional actual Qatar Grand Prix.
Yeah, we've been talking a bit about F1, so let's keep going with that. I guess I went through the McLaren blunder before, and it's been a rough couple of weeks for McLaren generally. You can feel the tension. Every interview, I mean, Oscar never shows much personality, so it's harder to judge with him, but Lando seems particularly tense because he knows this is his championship to lose now. But my question to you is a simple one, and that is, who do you think wins? Does Max pull this off? Do McLaren have another bungle in their garage this weekend?
I thought the first question you were going to ask is, how good is my VB racing jacket?
It is pretty cool.
It has epaulets and it has flames on the sleeves. I'm quite warm, but I'm wearing this for you.
Yes, I do like that. Where did you get that? Was that from some stunt show at Bathurst as part of the track entertainment?
No, do you know what? I think Sam is watching. Shout out to Sam. But I was doing an event with Valtteri Bottas, and VB kind of on the side was doing some stuff with Valtteri. Anyway, when he was doing Sauber stuff, he was sponsored by another beer. So I couldn't do anything official, but he got a whole bunch of gear and I just sort of got handed that from him. So it's like, thanks, man. You want to take this to Monaco? Why not? I don't understand.
I mean, it's a classy get-up. I can't imagine why not. And there you go, people. Yeah. We have guests on that do things with Valtteri Bottas. That's how good this show is.
That was too much of a name drop, wasn't it? I done that. I immediately regret.
I love it.
At least this isn't live. If you could just cut that out, that'd be great. Let's start with McLaren, because I heard you say the point of the pit stop. So I think.
We got you. We can hear you, mate. Keep going.
Okay. So the way that the pit stops are working on lap 7, so Nico Hülkenberg and Pierre Gasly decided to have a bit of a tangle, which is kind of a shame for both of those drivers, because I think Hülkenberg was driving exceptionally well for Sauber, and Pierre Gasly, as always this season, has outdriven this Alpine, especially compared to Colapinto, his teammate. Now, I don't think McLaren's strategists were necessarily expecting not only just Red Bull to come into the pits, but literally everybody else in the entire grid came into pit. And McLaren, like Randy at McLaren is the head strategist going, how could I possibly have predicted that? Andrea Stella, the team principal, and Zach Brown, the CEO, after the race came out and said, yep, that was the wrong call to make. But Michael Laminato, I think, very cleverly sort of thought about this. And that is the case that if, for example, both McLarens were to pit, Oscar was running in first and Lando was running in third, Lando would have had to double stack behind Oscar, costing him time, probably maybe anywhere up to 2.5, 3 seconds.
Yep.
And after he got released from his pit stop, because of the influx of traffic for the rest of the pit boxes, he may have had to wait another 2 or 3 seconds. So there is potentially between 2 to 5 seconds of Lando's race wasted in that double stack. Now, the problem that I have is that instead of trying to help Oscar Piastri or help Lando Norris, what they've done is try to run the middle ground and not preference either driver, but in so doing have now preferenced Lando Norris. And that is because, quite simply, Lando is out the front with, I think it's a 16-point gap. And the permutations for him winning the championship this weekend are many. Max Verstappen slightly less. And the conditions for Oscar Piastri to win the World Championship is that he has to finish first.
Yep.
Norris has to finish fifth or worse, and then Verstappen is not in the picture. Or Oscar finishes second, Lando finishes 10th or worse, and Verstappen finishes fourth or worse. So we're not really, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it's certainly so slim. I'm not even going to bother going through the permutations for the other two drivers because there's just so many of them.
I think it's more likely, right, that Verstappen claims it just with a bad Lando day and a Verstappen win, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, Max has said many times in the last couple of weeks, he's only winning Grand Prix and back into the championship picture because McLaren have made these mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was very scathing of them, of not taking effectively a free pit stop with the safety car on lap 7. And I'll just also add in that Pirelli, the tyre manufacturer, had said, don't do more than 25 laps on these tyres because effectively they will probably fail and you don't want that, and neither do we. And so they sort of implemented a maximum stint time of, laps of 25. Not that they can police that necessarily, but I mean, it sort of forced a 2-stopper for everyone, which I thought was interesting. But, I think one of the comments that Hans said, which kind of irks me quite a lot, is that he thinks that Oscar is arrogant or something, which is just, it absolutely boggles my mind when people who haven't met athletes criticize them for one way or the other. And I'm,
hey man, that's my whole job. My whole job is to criticize people I've never met.
Not of every sport, but certainly for sports internationally. That's true. That's true. But how do you feel about Porsche Asia Cup? Talk to us about the top 3 drivers. No, I'm kidding. But I think, this is a guy who is 24, who has a significant amount of weight on his shoulders from a country that has only recently started to get behind him. Like, genuinely, I think it's taken Australian fans such a long time to get over the Daniel Ricciardo exit in Singapore last year, where Liam Lawson took over. The 2010 Mark Webber scenario where he didn't win the championship, and the fact that we have to go back to 1980 and Alan Jones for the last Formula One World Championship. So the fact that he's 24 with a really good set of a good head on a good set of shoulders.
Yep.
And to admit that in the last 6 or 7 weeks, he's performed pretty poorly, but still happy with his season as a whole. I think as Australian fans and Formula One fans, we should get behind him. I also think we shouldn't boo Lando Norris. I think that's unfair for him. I mean, we can have our opinions on him either way. I got asked actually on Sky, what about Lando Norris and all the boos? Is that still happening? I don't think so. I think people are probably frustrated if they are a fan of Oscar with McLaren and papaya rules, and so potentially booing Zach Brown and Andrea Stella and the rest. So I look forward to the Melbourne Walk next year at the Australian Grand Prix when Zach walks down the main drag after whoever wins, Oscar, Lando or Max, and the Australian fans' reaction, because we won't hold back.
I just can't wait.
We often don't.
I can't wait to see Hans versus Oscar and then Hans versus you at the Grand Prix next year. We'll film that and put it on our reels. Let's get on to supercars because we have spoken.
Poor Hans. Sorry, mate. Thanks for watching and thanks for engaging. It actually takes a lot to get in the chat. So well done you. But, banter.
Hans is a legend. He won't be put off by anyone. Don't worry. He'll go harder. Now, let's talk supercars because that was the grand final. And you and I have criticised the grand final concept in the past, but it did dish up some entertainment. I mean, one of the things you can look at is the perceived unfairness of Brock Feeney dominating the whole year and then having a scenario where it was contrived in that he could lose the title in the last race for entertainment's sake. And that's exactly what happened. Now, for those who didn't watch it, Ryan Wood and Chaz Mostert are teammates. Chaz Mostert was coming second in the championship. Brock Feeney was coming first. If Feeney won the race, he won the championship. If he beat Mostert, even if he came fourth and Mostert came fifth, then Feeney wins the championship. So Mostert has to beat him. Wood and Feeney are very close to each other on the grid. Wood has a better start than Feeney, gets close to him, all over the back of him, and then there's an incident which we'll probably get up later if the tech allows us to. We'll look at the crash. But before we do that, I want your opinion on whether you think it was deliberate, because Wood does hit Feeney. He turns him around. I know there were mechanical issues with Feeney, but effectively the Wood hit on Feeney takes him out of it and allows Mostert to cruise to the title. So there's an asterisk in some people's minds. I mean, it's real. It's a real championship. Mostert deserves it. He's a great servant of the sport. A lot of people love him. Great dude. No one's begrudging Chaz Mostert. We are all wondering, though, was this a sinister Ryan Walkinshaw tactic? Was it a hit job on Brock Feeney?
Do you have like a hat that's covered in tinfoil with little tinfoil corks that we can continue to bat out of our eyes? But I think
the question
that I think the sport has benefited from Chaz Mostert winning the championship, not Red Bull Ampol Racing winning yet another championship.
Agreed.
Does that mean it's fair for Brock? Absolutely not. I think it probably shouldn't surprise anyone, especially Brock Feeney, that Ryan Wood absolutely centered up the inside. Now, I think that Walkinshaw Andretti United came to the grand final and the final series as a whole with a state of play in mind that is different from the rest of the year. Because if you do a move like Ryan did, say, in Tasmania, it's a waste of time. No one benefits. You cost yourself time and potentially a shot at the grand final, and you cost the team money by damaging the car. They knew that they had to play hard, and he did what Sergio Perez did with Max Verstappen in 2021. He played the teammate game really, really well. Regardless if it was intentional or not for the damage, I don't think racing car drivers want that. I think Ryan still wanted to win the race, regardless of the outcome. He wouldn't get on the grid if he didn't. But I think in terms of the situational awareness for Brock, he should have known that Ryan was just going to absolutely center it. And okay, retrospect is a wonderful thing. And you can look at the footage, and there was no B pillar anywhere in sight for Ryan's car to be alongside.
He's at fault. Wood's
Brock
at fault.
to then to that. He absolutely is. But you would have to think as Brock, like, you got to just be careful of this dude, right?
Yeah.
Give him all the space in the world. And if he wants to, play push and shove, get out of it early. Get on the brakes early. Give him as much space as possible to stop the spin and everything else. Again, retrospect, I'm obviously not a race car driver and I'm not in the cockpit, so I couldn't comment exactly on how Brock could do it. But was it a hit? Probably. And Walkinshaw and Andretti United are that kind of team. Has the sport benefited from Chaz Mostert finishing with 5,306 points? Sure.
There's that point system.
The points, maybe. But certainly Chaz, I think, I think he's a wonderful, as you said, servant of the sport, but he's a wonderful ambassador for motorsport in this country. He loves fans. He's all about no social hate. So he's about lifting, I think, the vibe of the sport, but also controversy at the end of a supercars round. We're about to start a new broadcast deal next year. I think it's good for the sport because more people will be talking about it.
It got me in, just like Bathurst got me in, so I was a skeptic about the style in which they did it with the grand final, but I watched, and it was interesting. You love drama, and we certainly got a lot of that. One thing that I'll get people to look up offline when they get a chance, Google Ryan Walkinshaw, who's the team boss of the now winning team. Google his reaction to the crash. That's one thing that's got people talking, because so it's the crash where Wood takes out Feeney, and he's literally going, "Yes, Woody!" and he's cheering it, and they're screaming and cheering it. They're cheering a guy who was ahead of them being taken out of the race by their own guy, which doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. No. And you can see Bruce Stewart next to him, a man that I think we both know, not as enthusiastic in his cheering, I would say. It was a reluctant clap, but you could see the cogs turning. And the engineer, I don't know what his name was, in front, he shook his head because some of them thought yes, it's good for us, but we know the story that's brewing here, and we know how we will be perceived from this incident. So look that up. That is interesting stuff. The last thing, World Rally Championship, very quickly. We have a new, well, not a new champion, a recurring champion for the 9th time.
Yeah. A Frenchman called Seb, not that one, has won 9 world championships. No, not that one, the other one. So Seb Loeb historically has been the GOAT, just to go back to what you were saying earlier, of World Rally Championships, 9 world championships. Now, Seb Ogier has completed that. He beat Elfyn Evans by 0.8 seconds to win the championship. This rally was the first rally it was ever held in Saudi Arabia. Felt very much like the Dakar rally. Felt very much like off-road championship. Was mega. Not like you just couldn't predict what happened. Thierry Neuville, who was the champion last year, ended up winning the rally. But at one point, and for the majority of the rally, there was Martin Sesks, who we on Listen to My Calls absolutely love. Excellent driver from Latvia, brilliant for the sport, young, full of energy, and isn't pessimistic like a lot of the other drivers are. There was Sami Piari, who's a young man from Finland who is really, really rapid as well. And he had his first podium last time out as well. And then we had Adrien Fourmeau, who was in M Sport Ford last year, now in Hyundai, also in the fight for the hunt for his first rally championship. And sadly, on the last day, due to punctures and everything else with all the massive rocks on all of these different stages, none of them ended up getting onto the podium. And that is the joy of rally.
Yeah.
We're going to debrief that epically this week. So if you want to listen to more of that, we're recording on Wednesday. So Thursday it will be out. We'll absolutely spend some time because there's a lot to unpack from WRC this year. But it's a great time to be involved in all these different motorsports. 3 of them. How good to be able to talk to all of it.
We just had Ash Hollick in the chat asking, is there any Aussies in WRC these days?
Ooh, good question.
So Taylor Gill is in the Junior World Rally Championship, and he is a young Aussie, which is WRC3 effectively. He just missed out by a couple of points on winning the JWRC. Hopefully he'll find a Rally 2 drive next year, which is a stepping stone into Rally 1 or World Rally Championship. The biggest thing, like every motorsport, is trying to find funding for it, but he's exceptionally rapid. Hopefully he can find, obviously, some sponsors worldwide, but here in Australia too would be epic, in the same way that Oscar was able to find some sponsors here to get him up the ranks too. But yeah, Taylor's one to keep an eye on, and he's also a lovely guy, young guy too. It's great for motorsport to have all of these youngsters be real positive about what they're doing as well.
Saying Taylor's looking for sponsors. Maybe he can be sponsored by Kensington Podcasting Technologies.
If it's not working, then no, I don't want to be sponsored by that at all.
No, Jimbo, it seems like you've stabilised us. You've done a great job. Thank you, James. You've done an exceptional job too. 2 Jameses are just the best in their fields, and I'm lucky to work with. Appreciate you coming on, mate. It's a comprehensive update on what has been one of the best weekends of motorsport for a long time. Well, since Bathurst, but one of the best of the year. So thank you, James. Listen to my calls. If you haven't listened to that podcast yet, do it. You don't actually have to be a big rally fan to listen to that. I don't watch much rally, but man, I love listening to Adelaide, Rob, and James talk on that pod. And I'm not just saying that because it's mine. I asked them to come to Musclecat Media because they're just so good at what they do, and they're funny and they're good people. So listen to my calls, rally podcast. Now, Jimbo, I think we're back. It feels stable, right? We feel good. You unplugged the GoPro.
Nothing can go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong. It wasn't the GoPro doing it, because if so, that's my fault, because I asked for that late tonight.
Oh, it's not specifically GoPro. It's just we are running a monster's worth of data through that thing. So it's more just any data I can get off it, the better.
But that's why we bought it. We bought it to run a monster load of data, didn't we?
Tech is tech.
Right. We'll be refunding that. But so we have people watching. We have people in the chat, and we're all good, yeah?
Yes.
Wicked.
Yep. We've got Hans saying, yep, looking good from here.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Hans. Legend. Hans, any response to James's barbs that he threw back at you? Did he respond?
He did say in the middle there that he doesn't follow it as closely as James does, but if we're dropping names, I met Glenn Seaton when I was a kid.
That's great. So I'll get to why I had the GoPro, because that all links into this.
Yep.
You see these cars here. Oh, man, these were my pride and joy as a kid. These are supercars replicas from the V8 supercars era. This is a Jim Richards and Mark Scaife Bathurst one. This is Larry Perkins. I have 25 of these. I, with my pocket money, bought a whole field of supercars, right?
Yeah.
And I used it on that track that Dad made me.
Yeah.
For those who weren't on early, this track, I used it on this. That was hours and hours. I had a Glenn Seaton one as well. So I've got a Glenn Seaton Ford Credit Falcon in there. So that's a good name drop on the show. The reason I connected the GoPro today, which now we're not going to be able to use, is I wanted to do a live recreation of the crash we were talking about. Right? So I was going to use that track and use these two cars as Chaz Mostert and Brock. Oh, you want to do... Here we go. Because, and I'll explain why. Here we go. Perfect. Look at that. I'll explain why. The reason is because we do get into some copywriting hammer and tongs in Adelaide into turn 5, I think it was. And they're about here, right? And at this point, they've got two choices to make. Feeney can stay on his line, and if Wood takes him, then so be it. He's got 50 laps to take him back. And then Wood has the decision to either go, yes, I'm going to send it, or no, I'm just going to, it's lap 1, I'm not going to go mental and crash into the guy in front of me. He chose to go for it, and Feeney chose to try and block. So Feeney squeezes, Wood runs out of room and refuses to back out, and he sends it up here, hits the wall, hits back into Feeney, he spins out. Chaz Mostert, who I should have used as the Glenn Seaton car, goes through and wins the supercar title. Now, if we play that video in a second, that gets cut out. You guys have all had a live recreation of the incident we were talking about. Now, James, I'll ask you, if you can, to please look up the Ryan Wood-Brock Feeney crash, and we can see how accurate my recollection of that was.
I'm not sure we need to. You covered it pretty flawlessly.
Did you like that?
That was amazing.
I'm just gonna push my camera up just a touch. There we go. We're back. Oh, all right. Yes, look up that crash for us because we've talked about it a million times.
And yet I still need to hear the name again.
Brock Feeney.
Brock Feeney.
And Ryan Wood. I've put my camera up too high now, haven't I? There we go. This is live. This is a real expose of live YouTube tonight. We've had the whole gamut of issues. But the great thing is that we can still go through everything that we have on here because we don't have to get off the air at any point. I mean, I know you have a real job outside of this, but I don't. I can be here till midnight. Got that one there, Jimbo?
All right, let's
have a look.
See what the vantage point looks like.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, let's go for it. They'll probably show multiple angles. There we go. You can see it. Okay, yeah, that was the aerial shot, but you'll get a much better view of it. Have we got audio as well?
The right-hander at turn 5. This is a giant game changer.
It is a giant game changer.
Stakes in this game.
Ignore that guy.
Ryan Wood, the
He's not involved. Just skip forward to where they do the replays, Jimbo. Maybe. Yep.
This is the squeeze. The right-hander at 6.
Yeah, just go back. There we go. Right, so there's the squeeze. Right, just replay that bit again and maybe go a couple of seconds further back. So you got Wood. He decides to dive. Feeney blocks, hits his rear quarter panel and spins him around. Right, and that was the decisive moment. That's lap 1. So what people are saying is that Wood from behind did that deliberately because he had nothing to lose. He wasn't in the championship race. He turns Feeney around and then it all went wrong from there. So what did you think? Was it a 96% accuracy, my recreation?
I'd say pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate?
The video doesn't make it look too egregious. He's just tried to squeeze in a little bit. And
yeah.
The bumps don't look too hectic, but...
I just don't know whether you'd do that lap 1 unless you had a mission to make your teammate win it.
I mean, we've gone go-karting before. You get... when you're trying to squeeze in to get around after that third lap...
What do you mean, man? You've never been near me.
There's some nudges that happen on the field.
Do you remember the time my brother was pole and then spun on the first lap? There was that. And then another time we had the enduro. I think you were there.
Yeah.
We had the big one where it was like an hour-long race and it was like Bathurst. We would swap drivers. And he was leading. He was in front of me. He's a good driver.
Yeah.
Almost as good as me. And he was just in front of me and he went into the pits to change, but he was 1 lap before the pit window opened. So
they sent him back out.
The part-time worker who was having like a sausage roll and a Coke was like, keep going. Yeah, it was brilliant. And so he never got that back, unfortunately. Yeah. So he fudged his lines twice, Bren. For those playing along, he's the hockey guy. He's the summer hockey guy. What are you giggling at?
It's ended his... He could have had a illustrious career in go-karting, but after that, can't come back from that.
No, that's right. That's why he's got an illustrious career as a summer ice hockey player. We'll get him on again in another couple of weeks. All right. Where do we go from here? We've done the supercars. We've done... did we have any feedback on the Ashes? I want to hear from people as to whether Usman Khawaja should be picked or not for this test. The other thing with England is that Mark Wood, the injury-prone fast bowler. Very good when he's playing, but often gets injured. Surprise, surprise, has some knee soreness, and that's coming from a dude with bad knees. So he's not going to be playing in Brisbane, which is a blow for them. What it means is they can go a fourth baseman. Maybe Tung comes in. Maybe, probably more likely, Shoaib Bashir, the spinner. Although, do you rely on a spinner that heavily in Brisbane? Don't know. Depends what the pitch is like. But it looks like Bashir might play for England this week.
We had What's Your Decision in the chat say the Oz Open this week at Royal Melbourne.
Yes, great call. What's your decision? I did have that to talk about. There's a couple of interesting things with that. We had the Australian PGA Championship on the weekend just gone, won by a Spaniard, that was, David Puig. And it's a really interesting calendar because this is all part of the DP World Tour, which has literally a 1 week break. So this is called the opening swing, the phase that we're in now, when they do a few Australasian events, a bit of South Africa. It starts with these two Australian events. So on the weekend, the event, the PGA, Australian PGA Championship, that was won by, as I said, David Puig. It was in Royal Queensland, and now we're straight into the Australian Open this week, which is huge for many reasons. It's the premier event in Australian golf. It is part of the DP World Tour, which is great recognition at Royal Melbourne. And I assume, if what's your decision, are you going along?
Well, he had said Rory's in town. We'll have a net session day before facing right arm quicks.
That's two different sports he's talking about there, or he's... Oh, okay.
Well,
I think
I think
what he's
Rory
intimating
McIlroy
is that Rory will play for the England, would be able to fill in the nets. Anyway, point being, Rory McIlroy is in town. Now, he has played the Australian Open a couple of times before. He won it in 2013, and since then, only 3 Australians have won the Australian Open. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. A, we're getting a little bit worse at golf, I think. B, is that a lot more international players now come to this event because it's recognised as a good event. And they're into what is considered already the 2026 season. And we've got a Masters champion coming our way. What else? Let's talk some EPL because, I mean, every weekend is a big weekend in the EPL. We had the Champions League midweek in which Arsenal had a massive win over Bayern Munich. They won 3-1. They were two teams that were undefeated going into match day 6. Arsenal won that. They're on fire. They're top of the pops there. Tottenham played out a crazy game, a 5-3 loss against PSG. That went nuts. Liverpool got smashed 4-1 by PSV at Anfield. So that was falling apart. The pressure continues to build on them. Man City had a wobble. They lost 2-0 at home to Leverkusen. Chelsea got a win over Barcelona 3-0, and they dominated that game. Reviewed, and turns out that, yes, he was sent off. But the big story from that is that Arsenal's long winning run came to an end. Yes, it was a draw, but Chelsea were trying to show that they are a title contender, and they did that. They went down to 10 men after 38 minutes, and they held on for a 1-1 draw against the most productive, the most professional and sleek operation in world football at the moment in the Arsenal Football Club. The Gunners are flying. Some other results, Brentford, Burnley, we don't need to go through that. Sunderland got another win, so they are back in that top 4, top 5. Man City got a win over Leeds. Tottenham had a terrible loss to Fulham. It gets harder by the week to support this club sometimes. Man United beat Crystal Palace. Liverpool finally got back onto winning ways after 6 out of 7 losses. They're still a shambles. They're mid-table there. They're dropping points in Champions League now as well. It's very hard to figure out. But the consolation for Liverpool, at least, to go with their win this week is that Alexander Isak, their expensive signing from Newcastle, who has been shambolic so far, he finally got on the score sheet for them. The other story, we spoke about it a few weeks ago, is Wolves. Wolverhampton Wolves, the team that 4 weeks ago we were saying, oh, they've had such a bad start, just 2 points from 9 games. Could they possibly be on track to break the record for the worst regular season record in Premier League history with only 9 points from 38 games? That was Derby County in 2008-2009. Well, 4 weeks later, and Wolves still only have 2 points. 2 draws, 9 losses from 11 games. And if you extrapolate that out across 38, they don't make it. They don't make it to the 9-point tally of Derby. Now, all it takes is one win that they snag somewhere, and I'm sure that they will, and that takes such a huge chunk. It's 33% of 9. They get 3 points for a win. So it won't take much for them to beat Derby's point tally of 9, but the race is well and truly on, and that is a humiliating position to be in. They're definitely getting relegated. There's no way that they'll come back from where they are at the moment. They're so far back already, but keep watching that with Wolves. Let's go to some NFL. Actually, Jimbo, are we all good over there to go through my last knick-knack?
Yeah, let's cover it.
Well, look, this book, this is the Second World War, right? It's a pretty big book because a fair bit happened in that.
Jeepers.
Yep, 950
Was that
odd
the sequel
pages.
to the first one?
Yeah, it's better in my opinion. The coverage was way better in this one. The footage was way too grainy in First World War. I am 88 pages in. Yeah.
So
Still don't know who did it.
who did it?
So don't tell me. No
Yeah,
spoilers.
don't spoil
all right? But I bring this to the couch because there's some bad news that we should all be worried about. All right.
We just don't know yet because you haven't finished it.
No, I do know because I read it on the news this week.
Oh.
Hitler has returned to power.
Who's he?
Hitler's been
No,
Hitler's been re-elected, James.
Really?
Look up African Hitler.
African
Now, this is
Hitler.
not a dodgy search, all right? This is legit, and I put it up on the screen for the good people because I know what's going to come up. Adolf Hitler re-elected in Namibia for the 5th time. Looks a little different to last time I saw a picture of Hitler. I've been scanning through this book. There he is. There's Hitler.
Oh, he's changed his moustache a bit.
He's grown it out, yeah. It was very 1940s, that fashion. 59-year-old has had to explain his unfortunate moniker for years, though it has never hampered his successful political career.
Hasn't it?
Well, he's been re-elected 5 times.
Well, true. Yeah, but is it the people saying, come on?
Well, scroll down. Maybe the story tells us more. Politician called Adolf Hitler has been re-elected for the 5th time in a row and is finally changing his name. 59-year-old member of the Southwest Africa People's Organization. I've always been a fan of SWAPO. I've always voted SWAPO. I don't know about you. He's represented Ompunja in the Oshana region since 2004 and was victorious in his local... Now, let's do the maths. 59 years old. Let's round that up to 60. The year is 2025. So he was born in 1965.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hitler was still on the nose then. I mean, he's still seen as a pretty bad dude in 2025. So in the mid-60s, why did they name him Adolf Hitler? Because Hitler's his middle name.
Maybe news hadn't travelled.
Hitler is his middle name. So they named him Adolf Hitler, and then what's his... I don't know what his last name is. Yeah. What are they doing?
Wow.
I mean, that's next level trolling or next level concern.
And of course, they're going to always say, Adolf Hitler re-elected. Well, that's his middle name. Use his first and last name, and we don't have a story.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's pretty good. I clicked. I mean, he technically is called Adolf Hitler. His given names. Imagine having to write that. And
that's awkward.
the irony of him running for office, which makes me think, are there other...
Is there nobody in his campaign that's like, should we change this maybe? I mean, he's... After being re-elected, it's a bit late now to change it.
I bet you he'll lose the next election. I bet you he'll lose it because
He's got nothing going for him now.
He's been getting 51% of novelty votes this whole time. I bet you. No one knows his policies. They just think it's funny to elect someone with that name.
It's the equivalent of Arnold Schwarzenegger for governor of California, right?
Well, let's not quite equate Schwarzenegger with Hitler. It's not quite the equivalent.
I just mean it's the funny vote.
Yeah.
Although he went on to be a good governor, but debatable. I don't actually know much. I'm just on the guy. But
the highlight for me from Arnie's reign was when he told everybody not to be economic girly men.
Economic girly men.
What a quote. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some novelty vote in there for Schwarzenegger.
Oh, we've got Alex tuning in late saying,
hello, Alex.
Hitler in sports news? ?
Yes. Well, it was part of my knick-knacks.
You've tuned in at an interesting time.
Sorry, yeah, Hitler's been re-elected in Africa. I don't remember Africa having a huge role in World War II either, so he's branched out. Anyway, I thought that was a feel-good story for everyone. The question, though, James, is A, how many other Hitlers are running around that we don't know about? We only know this guy because he's an elected official, so that's one. And B, will that name... let's remove the Hitler bit from it. Let's just focus on Adolf, right?
Sure.
Will that ever be looked at as not an eyebrow raiser? Because there's an extreme sports dude. I think he's a freestyle BMX guy or a mountain bike guy, and his name's Adolf.
Yeah, okay. I assume in Germany it's still going to be commonly used, no?
Yeah, I reckon it might have dipped a bit. I reckon especially in Germany.
Had a dip, but I'm sure... Is it?
I mean, anyone who names their kid that, you got to look at it and go, no other options? Not one other option.
Just nothing else rang off the tongue.
Yeah. Suspicious. Suspicious. Anyway, Namibian politics. I'll keep a
tight eye
close
on that.
it. That's absolutely. Let's look at some NFL stuff. I said before the Daniel Jones thing. The AFC South division has been turned on its head. Yes.
I assume you're in the loop, but Ashaholic is saying should find out about the Tassie Stadium this week, Kurt, which will be huge news.
Oh, that is big news. Yes. So the AFL Stadium, basically, there that has been subject of much political posturing and votes and arguments.
'Cause this is Tassie's bringing in a team.
They are.
Has that finally got a date on it?
You're testing me here. 2028, I think, is the official date, but
Sure.
the
So they're working on a stadium,
It's
I
been
take it.
penciled in because the stadium hasn't been guaranteed yet. But if we find out about it this week, then we will know for sure. So that is big news in the Australian sporting front.
So in terms of stadium, they're erecting one?
They are erecting one. That's a weird choice of word there, James.
You felt right.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's some political parts that go with it. I'm more au fait with Namibian politics.
More in the loop with
Yeah.
the Adolf Hitlers of Namibia.
Yeah. I don't know much about the Tasmanian Stadium. I know a lot about Swapo and Adolf Hitler. And I tell you what, I'll tell you more about it in.
Joking.
We'll get to NFL in a second, but it just reminded me. What's your decision was in the chat earlier, and he has been banging on about cyclocross over the last few weeks. Can you get that cyclocross video up that I sent you today? Because I don't know anything about this sport. He's just been saying if you look across, there's got to be more on that page. Look at
True.
yeah.
They got a whole page dedicated to it.
160,000 followers. Okay, it's got to be some highlights.
Pictures.
If that's the biggest highlight week, that can't be the peak of the sport, surely. Here we go. Okay, this is just mountain biking at the moment.
Oh, yeah, true.
What's cross about that? So I assume
It's road bikes on sand. What are we doing?
Being Ron Ha having none of it. The sharpest elbows out of that pair. Stayed on his bike a little bit under 2 knots, but it did enable Ron Ha to come back
Are
through.
they mountain bikes or road bikes?
they're
I can't
road
tell. They're
bikes.
road,
Going
yes.
up here, 2 knots, just trying to cut in. Being
Okay.
Ron Ha having none of it.
All right, that's enough of that.
So essentially we're...
I'm not sold yet.
I guess cyclocross is just a cross between taking a road bike on a cross-country mission.
I guess.
I guess
it's like mountain biking on even more varied surfaces with normal. But there was a clip of a chick on a mountain bike.
It's like rally driving with an F1, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah, I guess so. I mean, it looks hard.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that it makes the sport any better.
I don't know there's any skill in it. Well, there's
guess
skill, but I
there's
just mean
skill.
maybe point is the word I was looking for. Don't know if
Yeah,
there's
there's
any
certainly no point. There is certainly no.
There's no skill being built for the real world.
What's your decision? Make a case. By the way, I'm not asking a question constantly. That's a person's name is in the chat. Make a case for cyclocross. Why should we watch that? It's lost to me. I like the jumps, but they're going too slow to make them exciting.
We've got Hans going all caps. Can we talk about how Chris Collinsworth says Mariota?
How does he say Mariota?
I don't know.
Doss is the man who does the Mariota impressions. Marcus Mariota, quarterback for the Washington Commanders, of course, who's filled in and almost got a win against the Broncos today. The slow starting Broncos. They always seem to start slow. They've had 5 last quarter comebacks this year.
We've got Hans chiming in saying Vikings GM on the hot seat. If not, how?
Yeah, he's got to be. I think Hans is a Vikings man from memory, or maybe he's not. Oh, I can't remember. Yes, well, let's talk NFL then. Vikings are in struggle town. I tell you a team who was incredible today is the Carolina Panthers. Somehow they beat the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Panthers have they've struggled lately, Jimbo, and I'll get you to get the Panthers games up. If you just Google Carolina Panthers matches, and that should show us all of their results from the last little while, because that's worth going through. They were out of it, then they're back in it, then they lose when they're favourites. There was an incredible stat where they hadn't won a game. This is up to 3 weeks ago. They hadn't won a game as favourites for 3.5 years. The main part of that is because they'd only been favourites in 11 games across 3 years because they were so bad. But every time they were favourites, they would lose. So let's have a look at some of these results. If we go, you can see Packers-Panthers there. So they weren't expected to win that, and they go on and win that 16-13. Then, after they've beaten the Packers, they have the pathetic Saints, who are 2-10, and one of those wins came against the Panthers in that game. They get blown out at home, Carolina, when they should be cementing a playoff spot against the Saints, so they lose that. Then they're not expected to beat the Falcons because it's a divisional game. Yes, the Falcons went flying, but whatever. They just lost to the Saints at home, so surely they're not going to beat the Falcons. Oh, They do. Maybe they were slight favourite for that one. Then they lose to the 49ers, but then somehow they've beaten the Rams. This team, I mean, NFL is a hard sport to predict. We've found that in our no-brainers segment in the Outback QB podcast, Jimbo. But the Panthers are the wildest team out there. Bryce Young, their quarterback, looks like the worst quarterback on earth that has no future one week. And the next week, he looks like the best number one pick to have ever been made. So they're well and truly in the hunt for playoffs, Carolina, but who the heck can trust them? I don't know what their next 6 weeks
Yeah, well,
will
the
be
question
like.
is, do they now, they've got the Saints again. Do they lose to the Saints again?
Do
they win?
Have they got them this week?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, yeah. Pull up their fixture. Okay, so they got
So
the
got
Saints. So they should win that, so they'll lose that. Then they've got the Bucks. They should lose that, so they'll win that. Then Seahawks, Bucks again. The Bucks twice in 2 weeks.
Whatever happens in the Saints-Panthers is what's going to be a repeat for this one.
Yeah, true. And then scroll down. Who do they finish the season with? Because
That's all I got.
Oh, okay. They've only got 4 games. Oh, of course, 4 games left. There you go. They're a real shot at playoffs.
We've got Ash Hollick asking, has Jimbo got an NFL team? Thank you for asking. Nobody wants my opinion on NFL.
That is
on that
nice
podcast.
of you, Ash. Thanks, man.
But I am technically born in Kansas City, so I am a Chiefs fan through and through since a young boy.
Yes, and watched one game as a young boy and never again.
We watched some through Christmas growing up, but not heaps.
Well, the irony is, and boy, it's hot in here. Is it hot in here?
It does feel a bit roasty.
My bottom off. Ash, you know that I get picked on constantly for being a bandwagon fan. And James, you know this on the Outback QB. The boys, Hawley and Doss, get stuck into me.
Yep.
You are pretty much the reason I have a KC connection because
True.
I grew up with you and a bunch of other Kansas City kids that moved over to Adelaide.
Kansas City kids.
So I was hanging out with you guys, you little weirdo Americans, for my formative years.
Yeah, and our grandparents, either family members or grandparents would send over Kansas City merch.
Yep.
So we're all growing up wearing bright red Chiefs tees.
Exactly. And then in 96, my mum went with your mum and a bunch of other ladies from the church over to Kansas City. She
100%.
brings me back a shirt and a hat, and I'm wearing Kansas City stuff.
Yep.
And then when I got into the NFL, I was like, well, I have a connection to that city.
Roll with it.
And I've been to Kansas City. I haven't been to a game there. They were playing away that week, unfortunately.
they had a bit of a rise to fame in the last 5 years as a franchise?
Yeah, 6, And then I decided to start a podcast
And
about
then,
it.
and then ironically also, I'm pretty sure the KC Royals won the world.
Yeah, they did.
5
5 or 6 years ago, World Series.
Was it 5 years ago now?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think so. Yeah.
Snap. But had a little good Kansas City run for 5 years there.
What are Kansas City people called? Kansas Cityites? Kansas citizens? Kansas...
I don't know I don't know.
Hmm.
All I know is because we're Missouri.
Missourians.
We're a Missourian, so we're the show me state.
What does that mean?
Basically means like prove it. Show me.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Think you can do something? Show
Why
me.
are you so aggressive?
I don't know.
Why are you so skeptical?
Show me.
You prove it. You did nothing for years. Missouri? Jeez. But that's the connection with me. Me through Jimbo.
That is my team.
Through to the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes. I mean, you're a bit more into it now that you're producing an NFL podcast.
Yeah. I was definitely into it when they were actually doing well.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a fan.
Yeah, always.
I'm the best fan.
Even through those lean years. What else have we got with the NFL? There were a few big results. I mean, the Vikings, they weren't expected to win, but they got blown out 26-0. That's why the GM's on the hot seat because they drafted JJ McCarthy last year. He misses the whole year with an injury, comes in this year. They've gotten rid of Sam Darnold, who won them 14 games last year, and now JJ McCarthy has all the faith put in him, and he's terrible, and he was out injured today, and they put in Max Brosmer, who was undrafted and threw 4 interceptions. He had a shocker. The Raiders are terrible, 2-10. The Chargers beat them easily. The Packers got a win over the Lions. A big storyline at the moment is the Chiefs dynasty over? Because they're 6-6
They're struggling.
now. They are struggling.
For the Chiefs, at least.
For the Chiefs, yeah. A lot of teams would take 6-6. The Chiefs wouldn't. They've got a 37% chance of making playoffs, according to NFL.com. Normally, by now, they've almost sewn it up. So that is problematic for KC. They've got an important couple of weeks. I mean, if they scrape into playoffs, they're certainly not playing well enough to win the Super Bowl. So it does look like they're struggling. Another team that is struggling all of a sudden is the Eagles, who were 8-2. They've lost the last 2, including to the Bears today. The Bears, Chicago, are 9-3, which we just can't believe. Caleb Williams and co are getting it done. That's a story for another day. But the point I'll make about the Eagles is that everyone talks about this offense struggling. And sometimes you think these things are just narrative. You know, they were 8-2. Why does it matter if they're not scoring that many points? Now it's starting to be exposed as we approach playoffs. They have only scored 6 more points total than the Giants, who are in their division and have only won 2 games. So they've basically had the same offensive potency as the New York Giants, who are almost the worst team in the NFL at the moment. So that's a problem when they're not scoring points. The other storyline there is that AJ Brown, who is a wide receiver, and he was complaining all year about not getting used enough and wanted to trade and wanted some help and had to meet with them and was tweeting about it and blah, blah. Look at me, I want targets. So they go, oh, fine, AJ. I know we're winning. We're 8-2, but fine, we'll give you some targets to keep you happy. The last 2 weeks, he's had millions of targets. He's had over 100 yards easily and scored both weeks, but they've lost both games. So now AJ is getting all this attention and he's getting the ball, but they're losing. So AJ Brown, maybe that's why. Maybe that's why they didn't target you, because they wanted to win games, and you being the focal point for whatever reason isn't working.
Is that him then feeling the pressure of like, attention's on me? I've chucked up a stink. Now he's just can't play under the heat of like, oh.
No. He's playing well and he's getting yards and scoring. But the team's offense, the system has changed. Now it's all through AJ Brown, and other weapons are not getting used and they're not winning games. So
Did you see I assume it was this week, but it was in a college game, the player headbutting one of the refs?
No.
I think it was Michigan.
What?
But
Get that up.
It was a very...
Goodness me.
And, wow, spoiler alert, he doesn't get ejected from the game.
Gotta have a look at this. I think it was Michigan after they lost to Ohio State. They were standing on the M, their logo, so that Ohio State didn't celebrate on it and disrespect it. That was, 1 day ago? Let's have a look at this. Headbutt ref.
Force Michigan to kick field goals now on a couple of possessions.
Whoa.
Oh, now a late flag, Gus. There is a lot of chippiness here. Keyshawn Barham just headbutted the official. I think he just...
But it's like in live action, doesn't look too bad, but in the still, like, you got him.
Yeah, but
like you could tell
when you say doesn't look too bad, there's a spectrum of doesn't look too bad within the context of he headbutted the referee.
Well, I mean, in terms of
it doesn't have to look bad.
In terms of the connection, but you're like, you can tell he almost caught himself on the pull through to be like, wait, what am I like? It's like he almost realized, oh, this isn't a player.
No, it's not. And he doesn't have a helmet.
Exactly right.
How do you rewind it?
Well, we've seen Ohio
Hey, it's me.
State force Michigan to kick field goals now on a couple of possessions.
Dude.
And he doesn't get ejected from that game.
All right. I will tell you, I'll reveal a secret, right? Most people who watch this know I normally keep it quiet. I'm an AFL umpire, right? That's my other job. Yes, okay. You can Google it, whatever. I'm not going to pretend I'm not anymore. Come at me in the comments if you want. No, everyone's very respectful. I appreciate that. That's my other job. That's why all these anecdotes have been all secretive about. Anyway, the point I want to make here is that I reckon there is a reason why they didn't eject him. And I think it's because sometimes you see things on a sporting field when you're officiating the game that are so bizarre that you actually question, did I see that? Did that happen
It's
the way
almost
that I'm recalling that? And if a player has half headbutted him, he must be looking at that going, surely that can't have happened. That must have been a misunderstanding. Maybe he just accidentally got too close. That would be the only reason that he hasn't ejected him. Because if you see that the way that we see that, obviously he's ejected and must be suspended. I mean, we should look up what the punishment is.
Yeah,
that's my only
aftermath
explanation.
is.
That's my only explanation for that. If that happens to you, you think, no.
Well, my only counter was like, oh, maybe he just didn't feel it as much as it looks. Because like in the real play, but he instantly touches his face. Like he's felt that.
Yeah, but that's sort of my point.
It's like the
If
shock
there's-
and like that didn't happen. Yeah.
If there's any movement towards you and there's any contact, that's whether it was super intentional or forceful or whatever, that's an instant ejection and more. So it must have just been pure disbelief.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was clearly worked up, but just lost track of who he's arcing up to. But
Yeah. Oh, well, that reminds me, actually. There was another weird incident in the EPL. Everton versus Man United. Was that? Yeah, that was I think halfway through this week or earlier in the week. An Everton player, you were here for it, actually. It was on Tuesday morning. Idrissa Gueye got sent off for hitting his
own player.
Yeah, Michael Keane, his teammate.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an EPL fight like that for ages, like getting sent off for hitting your own. Can you get that up on Insta maybe? So yeah, this was a couple of Evertonian players. They got in an argument about, they conceded a goal kick or something. It wasn't even a goal that they conceded. And yeah, there wasn't great contact from Gueye to Keane, but there was enough. And when you slap your own player and you get seen by the referee, you get sent off, which is, I don't know if that's universal across sports. If you assault your own teammate, do you get sent off? Definitely in soccer, but I'm not sure about in others.
What about if you headbutt a ref?
Apparently not. Apparently that's fine. Yeah, here we go. Oh, this looks like a good angle of it. And a non-copyright one as well. Beautiful. Okay, so there's the misunderstanding. So he played the pass. Keane wasn't where he expected. Now they argue.
Oh, get over there.
Get it. Get it.
What are
Get
you
the
doing?
vision. Oh my gosh, that's frustrating.
It's trash.
Show it. Oh, okay, right. That's
Not the best.
great camera angle, jerks. Why even put that up? It's not. That's the same
Oh,
one.
same video, Mugs.
It's gone absolutely viral. That had millions of views. It didn't even show it. Anyway, he just gives him a bit of a love tap. It wasn't huge, and it's a straight red, and which is the right decision. Any strike to a player that gets him in the head. But look up Lee Bowyer,
Lee Bowyer.
Bowyer, and Kieran Dyer. Every time there's an altercation between teammates in any sport, I always think of this Newcastle fight. Dyer was a winger. Bowyer was more of like a dour defensive midfielder for Newcastle. This is, I reckon, 2002. What program have you referenced here, Jimbo? Here we go. That's a proper fight. Look at them. They're going for it.
Kieran Dyer. Yeah, remember this one quite well, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Both of them went at it. Kieran Dyer.
Go again. Go. Yeah.
Many years ago,
So here they go. They're scrapping down the screen there. Look, there's a haymaker thrown. They both got a shot in there. So if you're going to get a red card,
Go for it.
go for it. Don't just give him a little love
It's
tap.
all or nothing.
But with that one, it's like, well, I think they both continued to play for Newcastle for a while afterwards, and they buried the hatchet. Maybe didn't last forever. They both moved on eventually. But at least that one, it's sort of two-way a little bit. They've both had a go. Whereas the Everton one, Keane just pushes him away, and then Gay hits him. So it's like only one guy's hit.
Yeah.
So you'd think he's on the outer, and Keane's the captain, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
you shouldn't hit
I'm
anyone, let alone your captain.
Curious, what the dynamic post-match and as a team from there goes like.
Yep, Man United still didn't win that game against them, by the way, when Everton had a player sent off for hitting a teammate. Man United couldn't capitalise. So that's where the Red Devils are at the moment. We were talking NFL, weren't we? You know what? We're getting distracted here. But that clip just reminded me, have you seen the BBC interview where a guy who came for a job, his name's Guy Comey, I think it was a mix-up. There's one guy was called Guy Comey, another guy was called Guy something. He came in for an IT job interview and somehow ended up live on the BBC. Have you seen that?
Oh, I have, yeah.
Because they at reception, I don't know, somehow they fucked it up. And he's live on TV and he has to fudge his way through it. Can you bring up Guy Comey? I think it's Guy Comey BBC. Here we go. So he thinks he's here for a job interview and he's going,
He
well,
looks
this
so
is
confused
this is
already.
formal. Guy Gomer, that's right. This is formal. Why are we having it in one of the studios? This is just an IT gig.
This is weird.
Okay. Little nervous, but whatever.
Surprised to see.
Oh, yeah, go back. They ask him the question.
Is the editor of the technology website News Wireless. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Were you surprised by this verdict today?
Yeah.
I'm very surprised to see this verdict to come on me because
No
I
doubt.
was not expecting that. When I came, they told me something else, and I'm coming. You got an interview there, so it's a big surprise anyway.
A big surprise.
Exactly.
Yeah. With regards to the cost that's involved, do you think now more people will be downloading online?
Actually, if you can go everywhere, you're gonna see a lot of people downloading to the internet.
You're just rolling with it now.
Everything they want.
All right, you get the gist.
At what point does the interview go, I was like, geez, I'm expert.
Yeah, this guy sucks. But you can see it's just a pre-scripted interview. There's,
That's hilarious.
she's not really listening to the responses that much. But credit to him for rolling with it.
He tried to handle it like a champ.
And he's right. More people are downloading things on the internet. So maybe we should have got Guy Gomer in for the role. All the comments are like, oh, did he get the job? Did he get the job? He didn't get the job. But everyone's like, well, he's shown the perfect ability to think on his feet.
Under stress. Come on now, give that man a job.
Unless he was literally the worst IT guy.
It's like, he's great under pressure and can talk well, but he doesn't know anything about IT.
Yeah. It's like when someone gets famous for one reel and then you give them a podcast and realize they got nothing.
Yeah.
They got nothing. Maybe that was the Guy Gomer IT paradigm. Oh, it's a classic. I like that one. NFL, we'll talk all things NFL tomorrow on the Outback Quarterback podcast. We've done the F1. We've done cricket. Oh, Zach Crawley scored 2 ducks in the first test, so he could suffer the ignominy of scoring 3 in a row. We hope that happens. Make sure, this is a reminder, you can win $200 worth of cricket cards thanks to Sports Card World on Thursday on our live Ashes watch along. So subscribe to that. Make sure you are there for it. Oh, basketball. There is some big basketball stuff going on. The FIBA World Cup qualifiers, James, not the FIFA
That's
World Cup.
soccer, Kurt.
The FIBA World Cup.
Even I know that.
I even put it in the ticker, not soccer. It is basketball. That's in 18 months' time in Qatar. Another World Cup in Qatar, as if we needed that. Australia is the top seed in Asia. So they've kicked off the qualifying campaign. A game against New Zealand a couple of days ago, won by only 5 points in Hobart. Would be expected to maybe win a little bigger than that, but either way, it's done and they did win. The game was, can you look up Australia, or the Boomers, Australian Boomers, and see if we won against New Zealand today? Because it was the reverse fixture in Wellington. They are expected to qualify very easily, Australia, so it's not really that much of an intriguing World Cup qualifying jaunt. Won by 2 points. Okay, so it's 2 wins from 2, but that's a tight one and had to come from behind. 22 points to 15. Come on, James. 22 points to 15. You're going to be laughing a lot during sport if that's what gets you going. Oh, there's another one. 22 to 15 in the last quarter, so that's a win for Australia. But the thing that caught my eye, Jimbo, is that we have been drawn against the Philippines. Now, we have quite a checkered history in basketball against the Philippines, and I sent you another video today, which I'd love you to bring up, because it was quite a blight a number of years ago. I reckon 5 or 6 years ago now, this poetry in motion. Let's have a look at Australia versus Philippines in the basketball all those years ago. So there's a high elbow, right? And yes, there's a bit of a flop there. I think but look at big boy in the yellow. Bang! He has absolutely floored him. The Philippines players are up on the bench. Australia's trying to restrain his teammate. And look at this. This is where it all starts to really kick off. Goes up with the right. Is that Spud Webb? He went up with the right and hit it with the left. Oh, there's a little back punch for you. What else have we got? Oh, that's a cheap shot from behind. He's pushed him in the head. Sobi's going to fall over here after he gets hit twice. Here comes Thon Maker with the hammer blow. Look at that.
Just jump in.
He's taking a specky. Oh, missed him. Thank goodness that missed. Number 2 is a psycho, still trying to get Thon Maker. Look, here comes Thon again. He's charging him down. Not so big now. Look, oh my gosh, they paused that at the wrong time. That was a flying knee. So we had a flying punch with the right that ended up being a jab. We had a flying kick. We had a flying knee.
The old surprise right.
So that was fairly scorned.
With how well that was filmed in front of camera, imagine in any sense of, well, I don't know if they call it tribunal, but aftermath of NBA, and somebody, well, it's not even NBA, but so...
FIBA. It's the FIBA World Cup.
FIBA,
mate.
That's it. But somebody said, no, I was defending myself. He's like jumping over.
That's right, yeah. It's self-defense.
Self-defense, mate.
I like to think that in the tribunal or in the match review, they were playing that version of the video in slow-mo with Enya in the background. Just that's what the defense put up, just to make it seem a little less aggressive.
And Morgan from Australia did call it before we pulled it up. Speaking of great fights, how are the Philippines going?
Hello, Morgan. Welcome. Oh, a female listener, by the way. We said the other week, or viewer, I should say. We said the other week that we thought it was 100% males, but Morgan was the one that commented and said, "Hey, I'm not a man. I'm not a man." The very first public supporter of the Outback Quarterback podcast 3.5 years ago, by the way, Morgan. So thank you very much for all that support back then and sharing us and telling people about us. And now for coming full circle and being on the Muscle Cat Sports Show. That's awesome.
We had Jared Beasy saying watching it live was insane. That would have been nuts to see live.
Yeah, there are some... Oh, Jared, welcome too. New viewer. Thanks for joining, man. There are a few moments when watching sport live as a fan, you realize you're watching something that will be replayed forever. Yeah. And they're normally... Like sometimes they're the good moments or the controversial moments, like the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the finale from a few years ago that I was talking about when Verstappen beat Hamilton in controversial circumstances. That's one. It was like 2 a.m. and I was watching that going, this is world news and this will be world news for a long, long time. Sometimes it's intriguing things like that. Other times it's just pure violence. Like that fight, I remember that happening was crazy.
Yeah.
We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Ron Artest, the Pacers one fight when he jumped into the stands and started beating people. I didn't see that live, but one I did see live, or multiple that I saw live, were the Australia versus Ireland Gaelic football games. And they were such acts of brazen violence that I actually, it dropped my stomach seeing it happen because you're watching thinking our reputation is being destroyed right now. It was actually embarrassing to watch guys just go out and try and hit part-time Gaelic football players in 2004. So, yeah, it was a similar thing there because we've got professional guys and the Philippines players, I would assume, are not quite at the same standard professionally as our guys. And then we're throwing haymakers and kicking people. And yeah, brutal. But funny when you put Enya to it. It's super funny when you put Enya to it. Have you seen those clips? It's like they're doing the rounds on Insta and TikTok. It's day 17 of proving that Titanic is sad only because of the music. And then they put like Rick Astley to the scene where they're all sliding down and it's nowhere near as tragic. It's like when you're watching a horror movie and you just mute it. If you mute it, it's not scary.
Yeah.
It's really not scary.
Back to lame. Yeah.
I've watched heaps of horror movies on mute. Golf, we covered the golf. We've got Rory coming. We covered the rally. We covered the supercars. NHL, we don't really need to cover. That's just ticking along. Basketball, we've done that. Cricket, there was one more cricket thing, and that is that Virat Kohli, enemy of the show.
Your mate.
My mate. No, great cricketer. Record setter, in fact. He has just scored his 52nd one-day international century. That's the format that he focuses on now, 37 years of age. He scored it in a win over South Africa was it last night? Night before. Can't remember. There's a lot of sport going on. Anyway, it's his 52nd in the one-day format alone. That means that out of test match cricket and one-day cricket and T20 cricket, he's the guy who has scored the most hundreds in one single format. It was Sachin Tendulkar with 51 in test matches. Now it's Virat Kohli with 52 in ODIs. And it puts him second all-time of centuries across all international cricket formats, behind the aforementioned Sachin Tendulkar. So that's why, James, when I criticised Virat Kohli the other day and said we don't like him, a lot of Indians came for me and said, well, we don't like you, your stupid show, which was fair enough. But Virat is a legend, and it was a reminder of what he can still do with the bat. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover today, Jimbo. We got the finale of the F1 this weekend. Supercars are done and dusted for a week. Hitler has been re-elected in Africa. We got the GoPro working in the end. Did you figure out that little technical bug? It seems like it's rectified itself, or are we just going to do some testing afterwards?
Yeah, we'll definitely be doing some testing.
Thanks a lot, Kensington. Anything else in the chat? Final call-outs in the chat for anything that you want to talk about before
Hans
we wrap?
had chimed in saying Kemp Lister fight that led to one of the greatest poster dunks of all time. I don't know that one. Kemp Lister.
Yeah, look that up.
Have to look that up.
Don't know what that is. That little fella for the Philippines who was trying to jump and hit maker. It reminded me of that picture of Muggsy Bogues and Manute
He was
Bol.
a small fella.
He was tiny. He wasn't trying to fly kick. It's just the only way he can kick. He has to jump. Maybe it was Spud Webb. Was it Spud Webb doing another dunk?
That's it.
Yeah, I wonder what this is. This sounds like a historical NBA moment. Anything coming up for Kemp Lister?
I'm just trying to see if I can find what he would be referring to.
Okay, well, I think that's all from my end. We will end it with whatever Jimbo finds there. I went through cyclocross as well. Nothing, Jimbo? Oh, here we go.
Yeah, thanks.
Sean Kemp dunks on Lister. Here we go. All right, so that's the dunk, and that is one heck of a dunk. Was that revenge for... Ooh, there's a bit of gloating there. It seems like something's happened before this. There must have been a fight before that. We'll look that up for next week, I think. Let's get the history to that Sean Kemp dunk for next week. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. A reminder to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry about the technical stuff at the start. We don't often have that stuff. It was a new piece of kit that we will throw in the bin after this. But I appreciate your patience because, this show's all about you guys. It's only fun when you guys are here, so I appreciate that you stayed on, even though the first 20 minutes was a bit rocky, and we had some good chats after that. The chat's always rocking, and we enjoy that. And remember, you can win these cards on Thursday night, the night session of the Brisbane Test, right here in Muscle Cat Studios. Myself, Hawley, and Alex, the fearsome trio from the first test, will be back, and we'll be watching that session with you. I assume we're not getting an Australian win on day one, but we didn't think that on day two either. So records are made to be broken. I'm sure something interesting will be happening. You can win those prizes. Hit subscribe. We'll see you all Thursday. Jimbo, all said, all done?
Yep, that's everything.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon.